Hello everyone. As introduced by Ingrid perfectly, I will be happy to talk about the legal aspects and primarily data protection and privacy aspects of the PharmaLedger project, and more broadly, if blockchain can really offer some legal advantages in the case of clinical trial recruitment processes. So next slide, please. First of all, I have quite a number of slides, so I'll try to be quick in order to finish in time. So first of all, when we talk about using blockchains in clinical trial recruitment, we definitely also talk about personal data processing, and this is actually one of the most important issues considering the strict rules of the EU General Data Protection General Data Protection Regulation, and more precisely, we should touch upon certain points here. First of all, while using blockchains for clinical trial recruitment, we talk about health data processing. And health data is a special type of personal data. First of all, health data, such as blood type, clinical data, medical examination results, disease, electronic health records, these are all personal data. And they are actually, as being health data, they are a special type of personal data, which are formally known or commonly known as sensitive data. And these data can be put into blockchain-based matching tools manually by the individuals themselves, or by the physicians, or they can also, the data can be put there by just taking the data from other databases such as electronic health records. And health data, as being sensitive data, are subject to even stricter rules under data protection, under the EU General Data Protection Regulation. Furthermore, blockchain, although we hear about blockchain applications for more than 10 years now, since the emergence of Bitcoin, they are still considered as new technology for a couple of reasons. First of all, they are complex type of technologies, and secondly, blockchain is not a one type of technology, but rather a class of technology which can be designed in various different ways. And actually, those ways are still being explored. And furthermore, data protection and blockchains, and actually more precisely GDPR and blockchains, are seen as oxymorons by many because of two main reasons, actually. First of all, blockchains are decentralized databases, while GDPR is widely seen as a piece of legislation which was drafted based on the assumption that there will always be an easy to identify data controller and data processor who will be responsible for anything related to data processing, personal data processing. But this is not a straightforward exercise, let's say, in the case of blockchains. And secondly, according to GDPR, if the data subjects, and in this case, patients, would like to exercise their data subjects' rights and first and foremost the right to erasure, then it should be possible. However, this is not the case in the blockchains. If in most cases of the blockchains, because of the immutable nature of the blockchains. So for these two reasons, according to many, blockchains and GDPR are oxymorons, and blockchains cannot be in compliance with the GDPR. However, of course, there are many different thoughts, and also myself, I believe that if the blockchain are correctly developed and designed and developed, and then it should be possible to comply with the GDPR. But beyond that, it should be possible to, and it will be possible to achieve the purpose of the GDPR itself. But I'll talk about this later. And furthermore, using blockchains in clinical trial recruitment, and also using matching algorithms and smart contracts, which are actually programmable, self-executing algorithms, let's say, which regulate the blockchain transactions, are a kind of automated processing. And on the other hand, depending on the particular design of the blockchain, also we may see large-scale processing and large-scale processing of health data, as well as profiling of patients. And these are subject to certain special rules under the GDPR, and will be allowed only if certain very strict rules are met. So, and as you can see, blockchain brings a lot of different questions here in the case of clinical trial recruitment processes. Next slide, please. And here we see, actually, today there are a lot of different projects which are using blockchains in clinical trials in general, or which are considering blockchains as useful tools, or even as game changers in clinical trials. And but most of the currently available projects are either in piloting phase or in proof of concept phase. And for most of these projects, actually you can see the bubbles with the most cited reasons or promises of blockchains while using this particular type of particular class of technology. And they are first, accountability, control over personal data integrity and security, and increased trust, among others. And I will briefly touch upon a couple of them here. First of all, there are a couple of very useful technological solutions which are possible by using blockchains, and they are digital wallets and self-sovereign identities together with dynamic consents. And if certain blockchain-enabled solutions are developed with these type of additional technological solutions, then it will be possible for patients to have a full control over their data. And also blockchain-based applications can also bring interoperability between the devices produced by different manufacturers, but also between different databases. And because of the particular nature of blockchains, which is actually a decentralized append-only database, actually once a data is stored on the chain, then that data will be immutable, traceable, and trustworthy. And what I mean by trustworthy is it will always be possible for anyone who has access to the chain to trust that the data is not manipulated, and the data is not reconstructed after being put on the ledger. And this will eventually increase trust and data security, because all the stakeholders involved in the process will know that the data stored on the chain is original or version controlled, and this is also this also provides a great ease for regulators, because then it will be possible for them to easily oversee the clinical trials and see with auditing, as well as I just mentioned, they'll have the confidence that the data are either original or version controlled. And furthermore, smart contracts are actually a very useful tool, can be very useful tool to ensure compliance with study protocols. And if certain conditions are met, then certain transaction will be done automatically without a need for any third party or intermediary. So next slide, please. So here there are a couple of key needs, let's say, which are important for the health information exchange and the corresponding blockchain features, let's say. And then I will not go through all of them, but these are what is identified by the literature. And just to give a quick overview, for example, accuracy is provided by the immutable and immutable data stored on the ledger. On the other hand, security and privacy is provided to a significant extent by the cryptography and dual public and private keys. And transparency, for example, is provided by decentralization and clear visibility and auditing. But on the other hand, interoperability is provided by the harmonization between different healthcare data sets. So this is the reasons or the vision of the many projects which are using blockchains, or which are taking blockchain as the game changer for the clinical trials in the coming years. Next slide, please. And here I would like to focus on a couple of particularly important issues in the clinical trial recruitments, particularly. And first of all, one of the big benefits that could be brought by the blockchains is transparency, actually, because as I quickly mentioned, blockchains are depend on databases and immutable databases, which means that data stored on the chain will be on the chain, and it will be extremely difficult to tamper with the data. And the data is stored on a timestamp basis, and this is very important in the case of the consent of the patients to the clinical trial protocols, because then it will be transparent that which protocol was consented by which patient, and then it will not cause any problem or any confusion or any transaction which is contrary to the consent of the patients. And this is also brings the opportunity to regulators to easily oversee the data and the consent workflow, let's say, in the clinical trial recruitment processes. And this is why blockchain can bring the great benefit of transparency in the context of patient consents to the particular clinical trial protocols. And next slide, please. And also, on the other hand, we should highlight the other great, let's say, promise of the blockchains in the clinical trial recruitment, which is patient autonomy. So in the last couple of years, we hear about self-sovereign identities, and I will very quickly explain what we mean by self-sovereign identities. Actually, self-sovereign identities is the idea that individuals should be able to control their identity and who has access to it. And in these self-sovereign identities, or briefly SSIs, issuers provide verifiable claims such as driver licenses or passports or other IDs, and the individuals who are the holder of those identities are actually will be able to use their own digital wallet applications, and it will be possible for them to share their certain credentials with the verifiers without a need of interference by the issuers, and without a need to provide their verified credential, but only the absolute necessary information which is asked by the verifiers. And furthermore, this can be possible by, first of all, this can be possible by, as I said, digital wallets, and in a way which we call selective disclosure, which means that you can as a patient, all individuals can only provide their data by selecting. So they don't have to provide, for example, all the data written on their passport or on their ID cards, but only the absolute minimum necessary data. And also, zero knowledge proofs can be also developed and deployed within the SSIs, which means that a patient or another individual will be able to prove, for example, whether they are over 18, but without sharing their birth date. And SSIs can also be integrated or combined with dynamic consent, and which means that any individual will be able to change the consent or their consent in the future. For example, when they consent to a certain protocol, then it will be possible for them to withdraw their consent in the future, and it will be very easy for them. It will be very easy for them, as easy as giving the consent at the beginning. And also, it will be of great importance to design the platform in a way that data sharing will only be possible after the matching, and only if the patient initiates that. So no one will have the access to the patient's data unless the patient grants access to certain, let's say, clinical trial researchers or another party. And also, in the case of matching tools, the data will be accessible by the hospitals or pharma companies or other stakeholders only if the matching is done, and only if the patient would like to share their data with the matched stakeholder. And as you can see here, SSIs or self-sovereign identities can bring great benefits of anonymity with zero knowledge proofs, as well as data minimization with the selective disclosure, and data security, because the data stored on their identity apps or digital wallets will be stored actually off-chain, so not on the blockchain itself, but off-chain via encrypted channels, and these all bring important data protection benefits. Next slide, please. So to conclude, as I said in the very beginning, that there are heated discussions for years whether the GDPR and blockchains can exist together, and this very much depends on the design of the blockchain itself. In this presentation, I tried to give you an overview of let's say a blueprint of blockchain design in a GDPR compliant way. in the clinical trial recruitment processes. However, as we saw, if the blockchains are rightly designed, then they present a very high potential with patient autonomy, with self-sovereign identities, as well as transparency, with immutable timestamp records. However, if not well designed, we may see significant risks of profiling of patients' health data, as well as large-scale processing, and also we may even see monetizing health data, among other risks. So thanks a lot for your attention, and I'll be happy to hear your questions, and I'll be happy to reply to them.
Thank you very much, Halid. This was very comprehensive, and I think we have really to take those aspects also into consideration, the benefits, but also the risks of technology here, despite the fact that the technology is already known to a great deal, but still there are, when applied in this context here, there are still quite a number of things to be considered. So there is one question: why would automated processing smart contracts be under more scrutiny as per GDPR rules? What are the concerns?
Actually, so thanks a lot, that's a great question. Under the GDPR, the data subjects, which are individuals, and in this case, which are patients, should be able to request human oversight or human interference in the case of automated data processing. And here we are talking about blockchain-based platforms where we can see transactions are being done solely and always by smart contracts if designed in that particular way. And it may bring great benefits, as I briefly mentioned, but also it may be even more complicated for the data controllers to ensure that the personal data processing is always be put under the human oversight, let's say. And also smart contracts may bring, let's say, a transaction chain, let's say. So a transaction can be followed by other transactions if this is how the certain blockchain-based platform is designed. And this may be also problematic for the, not problematic, yes, maybe problematic and also difficult for the patients, and for the patients to exercise their rights. And I hope I managed to answer your question.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go to the polling. So the first question on these topics: when providing your health data into a trial matching platform, is it important to know who collects and handles your data? Is that, yes, for me to know who manages my data is a prerequisite for providing my data? Or yes, but it is sufficient for me to be reassured that my data are safe, but I don't want to know much about the details? Or no, I don't care because finding a trial is the most important under whatever condition? Or no, I generally don't worry much about protection of my data anyway. So what would be your selection here? Okay, but I think here we have, again, about 2/3 for whom it is really important to have to know who managed the data, and 1/3 says it is sufficient that I know that, but nobody said, no, I don't care. I think that is a very clear result here. Okay, next question. Is it important for you that data from your treating physician's patient record can automatically and safely be included in the trial matching platform? Either yes, because I want that the matching algorithm Oops, is the one missing? Because I want the matching algorithm has as much information as possible to maximize my chance to find a suitable trial, or no, because I prefer to enter data myself to have the full control, or no, I would prefer that the potentially interested investigator contacts my treating physician for more information, so that there's again this direct contact between the investigator and the treating physician that should kick in soon. So the full trust in the technology, or somewhat intermediate, the investigator and the treating physician, or full control about this myself of the data. So where do we stand here? Okay, it's about 60% want that this goes automatically, that there's an intelligent and safe way of entering data from whatever source it is, and then enabling the matchmaking.